Hey guys! So today I thought I'd do another mommy chat video. I thought it'd be kind of fun. And this is on a topic that I don't really talk about too much, and I thought it'd be kind of a fun video to do. So I don't know if you guys know this, but we do co-sleeping. And I don't think a lot of people know that we do that, and I think that a lot of people think it's kind of weird. And you know, everyone has their own setup and their own thing that they do with their kids. So I just thought I'd kind of talk to you about a minute about co-sleeping and how it's going for us and kind of our journey with it. Just because it's kind of a fun video, I think, and I think it's kind of a fun thing to share. So I have some notes on my notebook that I made, and so I'm just going to be looking down a little bit because I have like certain dates of certain things. Well, I mean not dates, but like general ages that I've kind of forgotten. So I'm kind of just going to look down a little bit. If I do, then that's why. But so I'm just going to kind of jump right in and get all my rambliness out of the way. So first of all, when Connor was a newborn, I would never ever sleep with my newborns in my bed just because it terrified me, to be completely honest. I mean, I am a pretty light sleeper, but I can also be a very heavy sleeper, and my husband is a very heavy sleeper, and the thought of putting a newborn in my bed and me like accidentally rolling over and suffocating my newborn in my sleep because I was like so asleep and I didn't even realize I was doing it just terrified me, because you hear about newborns getting suffocated all the time. And I mean, I don't think I would ever sleep if a newborn was in my bed because I'd be so scared that I'd accidentally like smash my baby. So I didn't ever do like co-sleeping with my newborns or anything like that. Like that was something I just wouldn't do. I was just too scared. So I put them like in a bassinet or whatever by me, and then they went to their own rooms about a month and a half or 2 months, something like that, and they just slept. So Connor, he slept in his own room until he was 3.5. So he did not co-sleep with us at all until, you know, he was 3.5. And I should say, like, we never even thought about co-sleeping. Like, it was never anything we wanted to do. We always thought it was kind of a weird thing. We never really knew about it, and so we never even like thought about it at all. You know, he was 3.5, he was in his own bed, whatever. So then he turned 3.5, and which is kind of a long time. I think some people think is to leave them in their crib, but for us it just worked. You know, he was happy there and it just worked for us. So we had two kids in cribs at that point, but he was in his crib at 3.5. We were planning on moving, and we didn't want to bring two cribs with us. You know, we had to kind of condense down a little bit, and we're like, you know, he's at the age where he can be in his own bed. He's old enough to do that. So we just brought one crib with us, and that was Aubrey's crib, and then we had Connor just have his own little toddler bed. And you know, it was kind of off and on at that point. You know, he could get out of bed at that point, and he started getting scared, and so he would come in our room, like he'd just open his door, come in our room and come in our bed, and we just like in the morning we'd always find him in our bed, and we're like, oh my goodness, like I didn't even realize that he went in there, you know. And so he'd always just start coming in our bed, just always. And then it just kind of became a habit, and then we kind of like fell in love with it, to be honest. He's a snuggler. He is an extreme snuggler, just like my husband. I'm not a snuggler. I feel bad, but I'm just not. When I sleep, I just want my own space, and that's a lot like my daughter. But my husband and my son are both snugglers, so my husband would just snuggle him, and you know, he'd just fall asleep, and we just became really accustomed to that, and we really liked it. And so then, honestly, from then on, we had him sleep with us. We would put him to bed in his own bed, in his own room, and we'd tell him if he was really good and if he went to sleep, then we'd bring him into our bed once like we were ready to go to sleep, and then it would help him, you know. And it was just kind of nice because we had our own time. We had our own private time together. We could watch TV and just like hang out, just me and my husband in our own bed without any kids or anything. And it was just really nice. And then before we went to sleep, we would just bring Connor in, and it was just kind of a fun little thing that we liked to do. And Aubrey was just in a crib at that point, so she was really happy. We moved again. We moved to my husband's parents' house for a little bit, just while we were figuring out like jobs and everything. We didn't want to have to just live somewhere for like 3 months and have to like pay a, you know, deductible fee or whatever. So we just lived with them for I think about 3 or 4 months is all. So we lived there for a few months, and that's when Aubrey and Connor was still sleeping with us, and they had a queen bed there. So, and that's what we had always used at our house, and so we just used their queen bed when we were there, and in their spare room. And then Aubrey started, and then they had, sorry, I should say, we had a room, and then they had a spare room for our kids. So the kids shared a room, and then we had our own room, which is nice. But Connor ended up sleeping with us anyway, and so Aubrey was just in there at night. And then she started having like night terrors, like around the age of, I'm trying to think how old she was. I think she was about 3. Yeah, she was 3 at that time. So just last year. She started having really bad night terrors, and she'd just wake us up in the middle of the night just screaming like she was just being attacked. Like the poor thing was just terrified, and she just could not go back to sleep. And so then I just started bringing her in with me and snuggling with her in the bed, and she'd just fall right asleep. And we had a queen bed, so it was very tight with both of us plus both of the kids in that bed. But you know, that was you know, we'd probably lived there for about 2 months, and that started happening. And so then we just started, honestly, then we just started having the kids go in their bed. You know, when we put them to sleep, we'd put them to sleep in their bed. And then before we went to sleep, we just bring both of them in, because it was just a lot easier than having to be woken up by her screaming. Because when she was sleeping with us, she was just fine, and she didn't have any like problem sleeping. And from then on, honestly, we just started sleeping with our kids. She was about 3 and Connor was about 3.5. So it worked out really good. And then when we decided to move here, we didn't want to have to bring any cribs with us at all, because she was 3 at that point. And we just, honestly, we had a lot of stuff, and we wanted to be able to fit all of our stuff into one large U-Haul. We didn't want to have any more U-Hauls, because we didn't really have enough people driving, and there was no way I was about to drive a U-Haul. I would have like peed myself. I would have been so scared. Luckily my husband did. But I just drove the car, and I drove the van with the kids, and then my husband was in the U-Haul, and he was pulling our car behind the U-Haul. Oh my gosh, poor guy. And then my mom was actually with me in the van, so we switched off driving, and then we could entertain the kids and stuff. But my poor husband, he had to do the big job. But so yeah, we fit all of our stuff in one large U-Haul. We didn't want to have any, you know, extra, you know, stuff. So we just ditched the crib. We decided that we were just going to get a bed when we got here. So the way our house is laid out now, we have 2 bedrooms upstairs. There's our room, and there's a room right next to our room, and then we have a basement with 1 extra bedroom down there, which was so awkward because I wasn't about to have one of my kids be downstairs alone, and it's really cold down there, and I didn't want to be downstairs and have both of my kids up here. We wanted to be on the same level as our kids, especially at their ages. If they were older, you know, it's not a big deal, but with their ages, we wanted them like close to us. And so we just decided to have the room up here, and then the room right across from us upstairs, we just decided to have them share that room, and then have the downstairs just be a storage room. And so I was kind of nervous because they've never shared a room before, but we just put the queen bed that used to be our bed into their room, and they just share the queen bed. And then we actually got a king bed for our room, just because we thought it would be kind of nice to have a bigger room, just in case, you know, they wanted to sleep with us here. We didn't know how that would work out. And I'm really glad we got a king bed, because it's definitely nice. And so yeah, and then they just started sleeping with us. Like, we put them in their own bed, and we saw, you know, if they were going to be fine in there, but both of them just ended up coming in our room every single night again. So we just kind of tell them to go to sleep, and if they're really, really good, and if they go to sleep in their own bed, then before we go to sleep, we'll come get them. And, you know, we come get them every night, and we just bring them in our bed. And it's really fun. We really like it. You know, me and Aubrey are not snugglers at all. Like, we just like our own space. And so me and her just kind of like do our own thing. And then my husband and my son like to just kind of cuddle. It's just really cute. And honestly, some people think it's weird, but it's just how we do it. And we love having our kids close to us. We feel so much more safe having them in our room. We know that nothing's going to happen to them. And I guess I'm just really paranoid. I love them just being close to me. So I really like it. And it's just nice because we put them to bed in their own room, in their own bed. Me and my husband have alone time. We can watch TV, we can hang out, we can do whatever. And then before we decide to go to sleep, we bring them into our room. So, you know, we each have our own individual time where we can just be together, and then we just sleep when, you know, when we go to sleep, we bring them in with us. So that's kind of our co-sleeping story. We've been co-sleeping for, I guess, about, let's see, with Connor, we've been co-sleeping since he was 3.5, and he's 5 now, so about 1.5 years with him. And we've been co-sleeping with Aubrey for about 1 year. So we've been co-sleeping for 1.5 years, and we really love it, and we wouldn't change it for the world. And honestly, I think when our kids are ready to have their own bed, they're going to let us know. I don't think that they're going to be sleeping with us forever. I think, you know, when a child gets older, they're going to want their own space, and they're going to want their own bed. And I don't really think that that's an issue. You know, we'll co-sleep with them for as long as they want. And as soon as they're ready, I think that they're going to, you know, want their own room. So Anyway, they do have their own room now. They just don't ever use it for sleeping. But, well, they do for a little bit, but then they end up with us. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun topic to share. I know a lot of people are pro and a lot of people are con, but you know, it's just kind of a personal preference, and me and my husband love it. My husband has told me many times that he would have it no other way. Like, you know, because I ask him, I'm like, is this really annoying? And he's like, no, I love it, you know, and he actually loves it more than I do. So and I love it too. I think it's just a really special thing for us to like bond with our kids, and you know, it helps us as a family, and I think it just lets them know that we're there and that we, you know, they won't have to be scared. And Aubrey hasn't had night terrors since then, and so that's kind of nice. And anyway, I'm just gonna blabber on now and keep going, but anyway, I just wanted to share that story with you guys and let you guys know that we do co-sleep and we absolutely love it. I guess we're kind of weird because we did the whole cloth diaper thing with our kids. Now we're doing co-sleeping, but honestly I wouldn't have it any other way. We love our kids and we love them being in bed with us, and we just love the closeness that we get as a family. So anyway, hope you guys like this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. We're gonna talk for a minute. Okay? You say hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, do you like to sleep by yourself at night?
No.
Who do you like to sleep with?
I like to sleep with Mommy and Daddy.
And Sissy?
Sissy.
Does it make you happy or sad?
Make me happy.
Do you like to sleep by yourself, or does that make you scared?
It makes me scared.
Does Mommy and Daddy put you in your own bed, and then before we go to sleep we come get you?
And I sleep by Sissy.
And you do sleep by Sissy, and you love it so much?
Yeah. Well,
Do you-
when you pick Sissy up, it's hard to pick Sissy up.
She's getting kind of heavy. It's kind of hard to pick you up, yeah. Who do you sleep by in the bed?
Mommy and Daddy.
You sleep by Daddy, huh? On Daddy's side. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you snuggle with Daddy?
Oh, yeah.
Do you love Daddy snuggles?
Yeah.
You guys both like to snuggle, don't you, sweetheart? Aubrey, come here, sweetie.
Last year we played a Hobbit game.
Yeah, you did. You like the Hobbit Lego game, don't you? Let me just put my camera down just so I can see your guys' faces. Aubrey, do you love to sleep with Mommy and Daddy too?
And Brother and Daddy.
Oh, and brother. That's very sweet. Do you love brother and Mommy and Daddy?
Yeah.
Does it make you so happy? Yeah?
I love Sissy more. Sissy.
You love your sissy? That's very sweet.
Yeah.